Thank you very much indeed, Chairman. Energy is vital and integral to our democracy, Minister, and the way of life in Ireland. We have taken it for granted for many years, but without sustainable and competitively priced energy, we are facing grave danger as a society. This government is asking us to put on the green jersey yet again and telling us to turn off the heating in the west or the east wings of the estates that they seem to think we all live in. Well, it's not put on the green jersey anymore. This time it's put on the green fleece and long johns, Minister. I have been warning about the potential for this energy crisis for years now. I warned about our gas security of supply, but nothing was done, apart from the government kicking the can down the road, in the hope none of their bad policies would catch up with them before they leave office. But, Minister, it has. I must also ask the government why they are only focusing on the period to March 2023 for mitigation measures. Can the government please think beyond their own noses and advise what they plan to do beyond March? Are we going to continue to wing it as we have been doing for the last number of years? A few years ago, I bought a proposal from an Irish-owned and controlled company which was pointing out these exact failures in our energy system and which have led to this crisis. To you, Minister. The company still wants to help Ireland bring a world-class LNG storage solution to Ireland in a cost-efficient manner under Irish control. Needless to say, they have been ignored at the expense of party policies, and we are now paying a very high price for this. Gas Networks Ireland may well need expertise, assistance along implementation of LNG infrastructure, but we have the people in our country who can do this, people who are willing to pull on the green jersey and really help out in the interest of keeping Ireland a safe and prosperous place to live. I acknowledge that the current crisis is affecting all of Europe. However, we've had plenty of time to act. Lack of action has put us in this mess. Let's put it right now, but in the best interest of the country, Minister. The Greens offer simple solutions to very complex issues, with there absolutely no basis to other solutions. For instance, on the 10th of July this year, wind generated 1.5% of our total electricity. Gas generated 80%. When the wind doesn't blow, renewables don't work. The Greens and the ministers constantly talk about blue hydrogen as a solution. The Irish Academy of Engineers and also other world-leading experts say it might be commercially viable in 25 years from now. The programme for government has a target of 850,000 electric cars by 2030. Today we have 50,000. No one across the transport and energy sectors believes this to be remotely possible. However, what no one in government discusses either is that it would require an additional 10% electricity generation capacity to fuel these additional cars. Gas provides 52% of our annual electricity generated. 70% of this gas is imported through two pipelines, which start at the same interconnector in Scotland, Moffat. If anything happens to that interconnector, our country stops. A cyber attack, a terrorist attack, an explosion or a major technical problem would shut the country down immediately. This vulnerability has been known about within the industry for over a decade, but nothing was done about it. While Britain was a member of the EU, there was an EU Energy Security Protocol, whereby Britain had to treat Ireland equally in the event of a gas shortage. That protocol no longer exists, and our only fallback now is the word of the British government of the day. In the next 3 to 4 years, the Cork gas field will be exhausted. Ireland will be 100% depending on Britain for our sources of gas, which originates from Norway. This means we are handing over our energy sovereignty to Britain. Sinn Féin, who are not here, of course, for this debate, is against exploration for our own fossil fuels. How can they reconcile this position when we will be handing our energy sovereignty to Britain? We all want the transition to a zero-carbon world to happen as soon as possible. However, it is going to take time and will not happen overnight. This transition needs a long-term plan. We must also recognise that you cannot deliver on a long-term plan unless you also have a short-term and medium-term plan. The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change issued a report recently on what is required to keep increases in global temperatures to less than 1.5% by 2050. Amongst their findings were that in 2050 global consumption of gas would still be at 55% of today's consumption, and in the case of oil 40%. In an interview in the Irish Independent on the 5th of September 2022, even you, Minister Ryan, acknowledged that we need to have coordinated energy systems based on our aim to having zero zero carbon inside 30 years, a far more realistic possibility. Not only is our dependency on importing our fossil fuels a huge, reckless and national risk, it is also the single largest transfer of our national wealth on a daily basis. In 2019, the cost to the state was $4 billion. This year, it will be $12 billion, Minister. The annual cost per citizen in this country is now $2,300. On the 7th of October 2002, in the Irish Examiner, you, Minister Ryan, Minister for Communication, Energy and Natural Resources, said profitable oil and gas fields could reap huge sums for the Exchequer. Profitable fields will pay up to 40% in taxation to the Exchequer. That's a top rate increase of 15%, you said, for the oil and gas companies involved. Ireland's oil and gas is a resource of the people, you said. I want to ensure that our waters are fully explored and also that we get a proper return to the state. What happened there, Minister? You forgot all about this, haven't you? Minister Ryan warned at the time that Ireland's dependence on imported oil and gas has grown to over 85%. This reliance on imported fuels from areas of the world that are geopolitically volatile contributes to price instability and vulnerability in Ireland, he said. In the Irish Times on October 9, 2007, Minister for Energy, Eamon Ryan again, in setting out terms for a new oil and gas exploration licence around in the procuring basis, drew attention to that instability factor, and you pointed to Ireland's vulnerability as an energy importer. Ireland now imports some 85% of its gas supplies, and natural gas is currently used to generate almost half the country's electricity needs. All of us rural TDs have met with business people from all walks of life in the last few weeks, Minister. They all tell the same stories. Loans to help with costs of energy will not help. How is having an energy loan going to help any business? These are businesses that have survived COVID. Now they're on their knees again and are being offered loans from this government. Kicking the can down the road is the problem here. Some of these businesses, if they already have great grants, will not qualify for further grants. The devil is always in the details. Solar energy, well, these businesses do not have the funds to invest in solar. Many of them tell me they won't even apply for the grants because they're too complicated. I met with the hoteliers recently. They are telling me unless there is drastic measures put in place, their doors will close for the final time. This is not just a loss of a hotel in an area, it's a loss of jobs. It's a loss to the tourist economy. It's a loss for Ireland. Now, let's get to the person who's trying to heat their homes and turn on the lights in the dark winter nights. We are being told put your appliances on at night, but apparently that's the most dangerous time to put them on. We are told turn off your lights. So if you are 80 years of age living in Ireland on your own, turn off your lights and become even more lonely and depressed, or maybe even fall over and end up in hospital, costing the state even more. How is the regular person supposed to pay these massive energy costs? This government needs to step up and cap the energy costs. You need to look at the LNG storage proposal, Minister. It's a very serious proposal that you're leaving unheeded. That was given to you, and you need to give the licence for Barry Rowe. You talk about helping the people of Ireland. You and your government have done absolutely nothing, only tortured the people of this country, and you have destroyed the island of Ireland. This will go down in history as the worst government that ever sat here in Dáil. That is some legacy to leave behind, just to say so your colleagues can stay in power. Pardon the pun.